Captain Elias Monroe had always known space was dangerous, but nothing prepared him for what he found on the uncharted planet of Tier 9. The sky was painted in strange shades of green and purple, with two suns casting long, distorted shadows across jagged mountains. Dust swirled violently, making visibility poor, and a sharp wind cut across his face like a knife. Elias adjusted the controls of his hover scout, a small, fast ship designed for solo reconnaissance missions. His mission was simple: scout the area, collect data, and return to the colony station with information about potential resources. But as he guided the craft over a canyon ridge, a sudden glint caught his eye. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light. Then he saw her. A woman, human, or at least very human in appearance, was running across the rocky terrain. Her movements were fast, graceful, yet desperate. Behind her, a group of alien raiders hovered in sleek, black hovercrafts, firing energy nets and strange plasma bolts that exploded against the rocks. Elias's instincts kicked in. Without thinking, he pressed a button, and his hover scout lifted into the air. "Not on my watch," he muttered. The ship's engines roared as he descended toward the canyon floor. He fired warning shots from his plasma blaster, carefully aiming to disable the raiders' vehicles without harming anyone. The raiders swerved, their alien language screaming across the canyon. Elias could only understand one thing: they wanted the woman, and they would not stop. The woman ran behind a cluster of boulders, but one of the raiders' energy nets snagged her leg, dragging her toward a hovering vehicle. Elias didn't hesitate. He slammed the ship down, the landing creating a small cloud of dust and rocks. He leaped from the craft, firing precise shots that cut the energy net and sent the alien raider tumbling. The woman stumbled but regained her balance. Her eyes met his, dark, intense, and full of gratitude and fear. "Thank you," she gasped, her voice strong despite her exhaustion. "Come on," Elias shouted, grabbing her hand and pulling her toward the hover scout. She hesitated for a moment, glancing back at the raiders. Then she ran with him, dodging another energy net. They barely made it to the ship before the raiders recovered. Elias slammed the hatch shut, and the hover scout shot upward, weaving through the canyon at impossible speeds. Who are you?" Elias asked as he checked her for injuries. "My name is Nayeli," she said, her voice steady now, though her breathing was heavy. I don't belong here. These aliens, they've been hunting me." Elias frowned. "You don't belong here? You're human, right? How did you end up on Tier 9? Nayeli hesitated. Her dark eyes flicked toward the viewport, scanning the skies. "It's complicated. I was traveling when they found me. They want something I carry." She didn't say what it was. Elias decided not to push. Sometimes, people didn't want to explain everything immediately. He set the hover scout on a steady course toward a nearby canyon where he could hide. "You're safe now. For the moment, at least." For the next few minutes, silence filled the cockpit, broken only by the soft hum of the engines and the distant echoes of alien engines fading behind them. Elias studied Nayeli. She looked strong, capable, but there was a quiet tension about her, the kind that came from running for one's life. "Elias Monroe," he finally said, extending his hand. "Captain of this ship. Explorer. Scavenger. Occasional troublemaker." Nayeli shook his hand firmly. "Nayeli, thank you for saving me. I didn't know anyone would risk their life for me." Elias smiled faintly. "Humans help humans. It's kind of our thing." Her eyes softened, but there was still that shadow of worry. "They'll come back," she whispered. Elias's jaw tightened. "Then we'll be ready." As the hover scout glided between rocky cliffs, Nayeli glanced around nervously. Elias noticed she was studying the terrain with remarkable attention. "You know this planet?" he asked. "Not exactly," she said. "But I have skills. Tracking, survival. You might need them." Elias raised an eyebrow. "Skills? Huh?" I've never met a woman who can outrun alien raiders and survive on an unknown planet without getting scratched. Looks like I'm lucky today." For the first time, Nayeli allowed herself a small smile. "You're braver than you look. Most people wouldn't have stopped." Elias shrugged. "Maybe. Or maybe I just hate seeing someone get hurt when I can do something about it." The Hover Scout came to a stop in a narrow canyon, where sunlight barely touched the ground. Elias activated the ship's stealth mode to hide them from any scanners. "We'll lay low here for a while. You need water, food, something to eat?" "I can manage," Nayeli said. But Elias noticed her hands shaking slightly as she adjusted her gear. She was lying. Or at least holding back something. They spent the next hour moving cautiously through the canyon. Elias carried extra supplies. While Nayeli's knowledge of the terrain became evident, she pointed out hidden paths, safe spots, and even areas where alien sensors might not reach. It was remarkable. She seemed almost in tune with the environment. Finally, they reached a small cave hidden behind a waterfall. Elias stepped inside first, scanning for threats. "Not bad," he said. "You didn't lead me into a trap." "That's rare." Nayeli's expression softened. "I wouldn't. I trust you. After what you did." Elias nodded, feeling a flicker of pride. Most of the time, trust came slowly in his line of work. Good. Because out here, trust is the difference between life and death. They settled inside the cave, sharing a quiet meal of ration packs and water. Elias couldn't help but glance at Nayeli. Something about her didn't fit with the usual explorers or colonists he had met. She moved with purpose, spoke with confidence, and yet carried herself like someone who had seen far too much. Finally, unable to contain his curiosity, he asked, "What exactly do they want from you? If you don't mind telling me." Nayeli looked down, fidgeting with a small, intricate pendant around her neck. "It's something important. Something that doesn't belong to me, but to my people. They've hunted my family for generations, across worlds. I am the last to carry it." Elias studied her, understanding dawning. "You mean, it's not just a personal item. It's a responsibility." "Yes," Nayeli said softly, her eyes meeting his. "And if it falls into the wrong hands, it could bring disaster." Elias's mind raced. He had faced alien warlords, smugglers, and rogue AI, but nothing like this. Yet, he felt a spark of something he rarely did: excitement. Not the reckless kind, but the thrill of a challenge, and the possibility that humans, even just two of them, could make a difference in a galaxy that didn't even know they existed. He leaned back, studying her face in the dim cave light. "Then we'll protect it. Together." Nayeli hesitated, then nodded. "Together. Uncrete to see." Nayeli. As the suns began to set, casting eerie colors across the canyon walls, Elias knew one thing for certain. This was the start of something bigger than either of them. Something that could change the way humanity was seen in the galaxy. He glanced at Nayeli, her pendant catching the fading light. Whatever this artifact was, whatever responsibility she carried, it was now tied to him. And somehow, he felt ready. Outside, the wind howled, and distant alien engines could still be heard. But inside the cave, a human heart beat with courage, and a promise had been made. The galaxy might be dangerous. The odds might be against them. But Elias Munro and Nayeli were not the kind to give up. And in that moment, he realized, sometimes, saving one life could change the course of history. The canyon was quiet, but Elias Munro knew better than to trust silence on a planet like Tier 9. Every sound, the whistling wind, the faint rustle of rocks, could hide danger. He had been here long enough to understand that survival depended not just on courage, but on vigilance. Nayeli moved ahead of him with surprising confidence, her steps light, but deliberate. She navigated through narrow crevices and over jagged rocks as if she had known these paths for years. Elias followed, careful not to disturb her focus. After about an hour of hiking, Nayeli stopped in front of a steep rock face that shimmered faintly in the dim light. She raised a hand and pressed her palm against the stone. Instantly, a section of the wall shifted, revealing a hidden passage. Elias's eyes widened. "Impressive," he said, stepping closer. "How did you?" Nayeli cut him off with a small, sharp smile. "I told you, I have skills. Some you may not understand yet." Elias grinned. "Well, I'm all eyes and ears." They entered the passage, which led into a cavern filled with soft, glowing light. The walls pulsed gently, as if alive. Elias felt a strange energy in the air, tingling across his skin. He instinctively reached for his blaster, but Nayeli shook her head. "It's safe. For now," she said. "Come closer. There's something you need to see." In the center of the cavern sat a pedestal, carved from a single piece of translucent crystal. Atop it rested a small object wrapped in finely woven fabric. Elias couldn't tell what it was at first, but something about it made him pause. Nayeli stepped forward, her hands hovering over the object. "This has been in my family for generations," she explained. "It's not just a keepsake, it's a key. A key to potential far beyond what humans usually reach." Elias frowned. "Potential? What do you mean?" She looked at him with a mixture of seriousness and hope. "It's a gift. Something designed to help humans survive, adapt, and even excel. But it only works for someone worthy." Elias raised an eyebrow. "Worthy? That sounds like a lot of pressure." Nayeli smiled faintly. "Maybe. But you saved me. Didn't you? That makes you a candidate." He swallowed hard. He had faced danger before, had taken risks. But this felt different. This wasn't just about courage or skill. It was about something deeper, the kind of bravery that came from protecting someone else, even at personal cost. "All right," he said slowly. "Show me what it does." Nayeli carefully unwrapped the object. Elias blinked. It was a small, crystalline device, about the size of a fist, with intricate engravings running across its surface. Soft light flowed through it, shifting colors like liquid fire. He had never seen anything like it, not in human or alien technology. "This," Nayeli said, "is called the Heart of Tear. It is ancient, from a civilization long gone, but it resonates with humans in ways no other species can experience. It enhances abilities, but only when the heart is used for courage and compassion." Elias reached out hesitantly. The moment his fingers touched the crystal, a surge of energy ran through him. He felt stronger, sharper, more aware of everything around him. Colors seemed brighter, sounds clearer, and even the faintest vibrations of the cavern floor registered in his mind. "Whoa," he whispered. I feel different." "Hard," Nayeli nodded. "Yes. But remember, it is not power for selfish gain. It will only help you when your actions are for the good of others, or when facing true danger." Elias studied her, trying to understand. "So, it's like a test?" "In a way," Nayeli said. "It's also a gift. And now, it is yours, if you are willing to accept it." He hesitated, then nodded. "I'll accept. But we need to be careful. If the aliens who were chasing you find this, they won't just want you. They'll want me too." Nayeli's expression hardened. "Then we need a plan. And we need to understand how to use it." Nayeli's expression. How to use it. Over the next several hours, Nayeli guided Elias through exercises to awaken the Heart of Tear. They ran through the cavern, jumping over rocks, climbing ledges, and moving with fluid precision. Each movement felt different, faster, smoother, more controlled. Elias discovered that he could sense the safest paths through the rough terrain, anticipate falling rocks, and even detect the faintest heat signatures of distant creatures. "This is incredible," he said. landing after a long leap. It's like I can feel the planet itself. Yes, Nayeli said, her eyes shining. It works with your instincts, your courage. Humans have something other species do. Not the ability to combine instinct, creativity, and empathy. The heart amplifies that. Elias ran his hands through his hair, excitement and disbelief mixing together. I never imagined. Something like this exists. And it's tied to humans? Nayeli nodded. Yes. That's why I had to find someone like you. Someone who would act not out of greed or fear, but out of responsibility. Elias smiled faintly. Well, I guess saving you counts as responsibility, right? She smiled back. But there was a seriousness in her gaze. It counts. But we are not safe yet. They will come for this. For me. For you. And for the heart. Elias felt a surge of determination. He had faced impossible odds before, but this was different. This was not just survival. It was a chance to prove what humans were capable of. And he would not fail. That night, they set up a small camp in the cavern. The glowing crystal lit the space, casting a gentle light over the rocky walls. Elias sat quietly, studying the heart of Teir. He could feel its energy pulsing through him, a steady reminder of the responsibility he now carried. Nayeli prepared a simple meal, her movements efficient and calm. You must rest, she said. You'll need all your strength for what's coming. Elias nodded. I've survived worse, he said. But he knew she was right. The aliens who had chased her were only the beginning. Whoever wanted the heart of Teir would not stop easily. They sat in silence for a while, the only sound, the gentle hum of the crystal. Elias couldn't help but wonder about the mysteries of this artifact, and why his race had been chosen to wield it. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy, seen as fragile and unremarkable. But now, he felt the truth in his bones. Humans could do extraordinary things, if given the chance. Do you think I'm ready? He asked quietly, almost to himself. Nayeli looked at him, her expression unreadable for a moment. Then she placed a hand on his shoulder. Ready or not, Elias, you have already begun. Courage does not come from knowing the future. It comes from acting, even when the path is unknown. Her words settled over him like a mantle of responsibility and hope. Elias took a deep breath, letting it fill his lungs and steady his mind. He knew the coming days would test him in ways he could not yet imagine, but he was no longer just a lone explorer. He had Nayeli, and he had the heart of Teir. Together, they would face whatever dangers lay ahead, and as he drifted into a light sleep that night, Elias dreamed not of fear, but of potential human potential, vast and untapped, waiting to be unleashed. The galaxy might not know it yet, but humans were capable of wonders. And Elias Monroe, with the heart of Teir in his grasp, was about to show them. Outside, the winds of Teir 9 howled. But inside the cavern, a spark of human courage burned brighter than any storm. The calm of the cavern did not last. Elias Monroe woke to a subtle vibration beneath the ground, almost like the heartbeat of the planet itself. At first, he thought it was a dream, but Nayeli was already awake, her eyes scanning the dim light of the glowing crystal. They're here, she said quietly. Her voice was calm, but her body was tense, ready to move at a moment's notice. Elias's heart raced. Who? The raiders from before? Nayeli shook her head. Not just raiders. Something larger. More organized. They have tracked the heart of Teir's energy signature. They will not stop until they take it. Elias grabbed his blaster and checked the Hover Scout's emergency systems. Then we need a plan. We can't just wait for them to find us in the cave. Nayeli nodded. We won't. Follow me. The two moved silently through a narrow tunnel that led to a high ridge overlooking the canyon below. From their vantage point, they could see a fleet of sleek alien ships gliding across the canyon, scanning every rock and crevice. Elias counted at least 6 ships, each armed with energy cannons far more advanced than his own small Hover Scout. This is going to be tricky, Elias muttered. We're outnumbered and outgunned. Nayeli turned to him, her eyes serious. Then we use what humans are best at. Thinking, adapting, and not giving up. The heart of Terror will help us, if you trust it. Elias swallowed hard. He had felt the artifact's power during training, but this was real. Lives were at stake, and the outcome was uncertain. He took a deep breath, letting the energy from the heart flow through him. The tingling sensation returned, sharper this time, almost like it was synchronizing with his heartbeat. All right, he said. Let's do it. They moved quickly, descending toward a narrow canyon path that would give them cover from the alien ships. Elias noticed something incredible. With the heart of Terror active, he could sense the safest routes almost instinctively. His body moved with precision, avoiding loose rocks and sudden drops, his reflexes faster than ever. One of the alien ships spotted them and fired a plasma bolt. Elias barely rolled to the side as the blast shattered the rock beside him. Nayeli shot an arrow, yes, a real arrow, but tipped with a small, glowing energy shard, and it struck the ship's hull, temporarily disabling its engines. Elias's jaw dropped. You make that look easy. Nayeli didn't smile. Focus. There's no time for compliments. They ducked into a small alcove, catching their breath. I can feel it, Elias said, panting. The heart. It's guiding me, helping me anticipate danger. I can almost predict their moves. Good, Nayeli said. Use it wisely. The heart enhances more than reflexes. It amplifies your understanding, your creativity. Humans can do things no other species can when we combine brains and courage. Elias nodded, his mind racing. He could feel possibilities opening in front of him like paths on a map. Each move, each choice, seemed to become clearer. Then let's give them a surprise they won't forget, he said, determination in his voice. Using the canyon terrain, they set traps and diversions. Elias directed energy from small charges to create false paths, while Nayeli guided him to place rocks that could collapse in precise patterns. When the alien ships pursued them, they were funneled into these traps, where rocks and debris slowed them down, giving Elias and Nayeli an advantage. One of the larger ships attempted to flank them, but Elias felt the movement in his gut before he saw it. He jumped, grabbed a hanging rock, and swung onto a ledge. From above, he used a simple energy pulse to disrupt the ship's navigation system. The ship spiraled out of control, crashing into the canyon wall with a thunderous explosion. Nayeli's eyes widened. You did that instinctively. The heart. It's amplifying your natural human intuition. Elias grinned despite the tension. Looks like humans have a few tricks aliens didn't count on. The battle continued, but Elias felt more confident with every move. The heart didn't just enhance physical abilities, it seemed to connect his mind to the environment. He could sense weak points in the alien ships, hidden paths in the canyon, and even anticipate the raiders' strategies before they acted. During a brief pause, Nayeli looked at him closely. You understand now, don't you? Humans are underestimated because no one realizes how unpredictable we can be. Other species rely on strength, weapons, technology. We rely on ingenuity and courage. That is why the heart resonates with us. Elias nodded, catching his breath. I get it. I've felt it. This is something else entirely. It's like the planet and I are connected. Nayeli's gaze softened. Yes. But remember, it only works when your intentions are true. Selfishness, fear, anger. The heart won't respond to those. Courage and responsibility. That is what awakens its full potential. Before Elias could respond, another wave of alien ships appeared. They were faster this time, coordinating their attacks with precision. The stakes had risen. This was no longer a skirmish. It was a real test. Elias focused, feeling the heart's energy coursing through him. His reflexes sharpened, his senses expanded. He could almost see the movements of the ships before they happened. With Nayeli guiding him, they moved like a single unit, setting traps, dodging blasts, and using the canyon's natural defenses to their advantage. One alien ship attempted a direct assault on Nayeli. Elias reacted instinctively, leaping in front of her and using the heart to channel a precise energy pulse that knocked the ship off balance. Nayeli nodded, impressed, and shot a charged arrow that disabled the ship completely. "You're incredible," she said, her eyes wide with admiration. "I couldn't do it without you," Elias replied. "The heart. It's amazing, but you taught me how to use it." As the battle raged, Elias began to notice something else. The heart seemed to respond not just to his actions, but to his emotions. When he felt fear, it pulsed weakly. When he acted out of courage or concern for Nayeli, it flared brilliantly, enhancing his abilities even further. "This is unlike anything I've ever experienced," he muttered. Nayeli's voice was calm but firm. "Then use it. Trust yourself. Trust humanity. We are stronger than we appear." With renewed confidence, Elias led a final maneuver. Using the terrain, the heart, and careful strategy, they lured the remaining alien ships into a trap. Rocks fell precisely where they needed to, energy pulses disrupted the ship's controls, and the aliens were forced to retreat. One by one, their fleet fled, leaving Elias and Nayeli standing victorious in the canyon. Elias sank to his knees, exhausted but exhilarated. "We did it. We actually did it." Nayeli approached, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Yes. But remember, this was only the first test. The galaxy is full of dangers, and not all can be solved with courage alone. You have potential, Elias, but it will be tested again and again." He looked at the glowing heart of Teir in his hand, feeling its steady pulse. "I understand, and I'm ready. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Nayeli nodded, her eyes reflecting pride and a hint of relief. "Good. That is the way of humans. We may be underestimated, but when we rise to the challenge, we can achieve the impossible." For the first time, Elias truly believed it. He had felt the power of the heart, the strength of human ingenuity, and the bond between him and Nayeli. They were no longer just survivors. They were a force to be reckoned with. As the sun set behind the canyon, casting long shadows and painting the sky in deep reds and purples, Elias knew one thing for certain. Humanity was capable of astonishing things, and with the heart of Teir, he would show the galaxy what it meant to be human. Outside, the wind of Teir 9 continued to howl, carrying whispers of danger and opportunity alike. But inside the canyon, a spark of human courage burned brighter than any storm. Elias stood, placing a steady hand on Nayeli's shoulder. "We've passed the first test," he said. "And somehow, I feel this is only the beginning." Nayeli smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting the glowing light of the heart. "It is only the beginning, Elias. But now, we know what humans are capable of, and the galaxy will soon learn it too." The night on Teir 9 was quiet, but the quiet felt heavy. Elias Monroe and Nayeli had survived the first attack, yet both knew it was only the beginning. From their vantage point in the canyon, the alien fleet had retreated, but their threat still lingered like a shadow in the mind. Elias sat near the glowing heart of Teir, turning it over in his hands. Its light pulsed steadily, almost as if it were alive, responding to his heartbeat. He still didn't fully understand its power. Yes, it had enhanced his reflexes, his perception, even his courage. But there was something deeper, something almost intelligent. Nayeli crouched beside him, her eyes reflecting the crystal's glow. "You felt it during the battle, didn't you?" she asked softly. Elias nodded. "I could almost anticipate their moves. I could feel the terrain, the rocks, even the air currents. It was like the heart knew what I needed before I did." "That's because it does," Nayeli replied. "It resonates with humans in a way no other species can experience. Our combination of creativity, courage, and empathy The heart responds to that. It's not just power, it's understanding. It amplifies what makes humans human. Elias frowned, trying to absorb her words. So it's not just giving strength, it's unlocking potential we already have? Yes, Nayeli said. Exactly. Humans are underestimated across the galaxy. Other species rely on strength, on rigid logic, on tools. But humans, we are unpredictable. We combine instinct, ingenuity, and emotion in ways no one else can. That is why the heart chose you. Elias stared at the crystal, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. And if the aliens get it, if they harness it for themselves, they would not understand it, Nayeli said firmly. They would misuse it, because it only works fully with human qualities. They would never unlock its true potential. Elias's mind raced. The heart was not just a weapon. It was a symbol, a test, a key to what humanity could achieve. And now, it was in his hands. Suddenly, Nayeli stood, scanning the horizon. Elias followed her gaze and saw a faint glow in the distance, alien ships approaching. Smaller but faster than before. They've regrouped, she said. And this time, they won't be making mistakes. We need to move. Elias nodded, rising to his feet. He could feel the heart's energy flowing through him, steadying his nerves, sharpening his senses. Lead the way, he said. They moved through the rocky terrain, using hidden paths and natural cover. Elias noticed something remarkable. The heart seemed to enhance his awareness of the environment even further. He could sense weak points in alien surveillance, feel subtle vibrations of distant movement, and even anticipate changes in the wind that might affect their escape. As they reached a high plateau overlooking a valley, Nayeli stopped. This is where we make our stand, she said. We can't outrun them forever. We need to show them what humans are capable of. Elias's heart pounded. He had faced danger before, but this felt different. This was not just survival. This was a declaration. A statement that humans, no matter how underestimated, could rise to face impossible odds. The aliens approached, weapons glowing and ready. Elias felt the heart pulse in response, as if urging him forward. He lifted his blaster, but then paused. Nayeli stepped beside him, her gaze steady. Remember, she said, it's not just strength. It's creativity. It's courage. It's humanity. The heart enhances those qualities, but only if you use them wisely. Elias took a deep breath, letting her words sink in. Then he acted. He led the aliens into a narrow section of the valley, where massive rocks and jagged cliffs created a natural maze. Using the heart's guidance, he placed small charges and energy traps with precision, creating diversions and obstacles that the aliens could not anticipate. Nayeli moved with equal skill, guiding his actions, shooting charged arrows, and setting clever traps that slowed their advance. One of the alien commanders attempted a direct assault, deploying a high-speed hover unit toward them. Elias felt the heart's energy surge, heightening his reflexes. He dodged, leaped onto a nearby boulder, and used an energy pulse to destabilize the hover unit, sending it crashing into a cliffside. Nayeli's eyes widened. You're learning fast. The heart is responding to your courage and creativity. Elias grinned, adrenaline rushing through him. Then let's see what humans can really do. He guided the remaining aliens through a series of traps and distractions. Rocks tumbled, energy pulses misdirected their sensors, and narrow canyons funneled them into tight spots where their numbers became a disadvantage. Each move felt almost instinctive, as if the heart was not just giving him strength, but understanding a connection to the environment and the battle itself. Finally, the alien forces retreated, their fleet scattering in disarray. Elias and Nayeli stood atop the plateau, breathing heavily, but victorious. The heart glowed brightly, as if acknowledging their success. Elias lowered his blaster, awe mixing with exhaustion. We did it. Again. But I feel like there's more to this. More I need to understand. Nayeli nodded. There is. The heart is not just a tool, it is a guide. It reveals the potential within humans, and it will continue to do so if you allow it. But its true purpose is not just survival. It is to show the galaxy the value of humanity. Elias's mind raced. He had always known humans were underestimated, but he had never fully realized the extent of it. This artifact, this strange, ancient power, was proof that humans could do things no other species could even imagine. Then we need to prepare, he said. If the heart is this powerful, there will be others who come for it. And they won't just test us. They'll try to take it by force. Nayeli smiled faintly. Yes, but now you know what humans are capable of. And that knowledge, that courage, is the true gift of the heart. Elias looked at the glowing crystal in his hands. It was more than power, more than a weapon. It was a revelation, a promise that humans, when united with courage and creativity, could rise above any challenge. He turned to Nayeli, determination burning in his eyes. Then let's make sure they know it. We'll protect this and show the galaxy what humans can do. Nayeli nodded, her expression proud and calm. Yes. And when the time comes, we will not just survive, we will inspire. For the first time, Elias felt the full weight of responsibility and the thrill of possibility. He was no longer just a captain, a survivor, or an explorer. He was a human standing at the edge of something greater, a force that the galaxy had not yet seen. The suns of Tier 9 began to rise, casting light over the valley and illuminating the path ahead. Elias felt the heart pulse steadily in his hands, as if affirming his purpose. He knew the challenges ahead would be greater, the enemies stronger, but he also knew one undeniable truth. Humans were extraordinary. And with Nayeli by his side, and the heart of Tear in his grasp, Elias Monroe was ready to face whatever the galaxy would throw at them. As the wind swept across the plateau, carrying the faint scent of alien metal and distant storms, Elias took a deep breath. The heart's energy coursed through him, steady and alive. The revelation was clear. Humanity was capable of greatness beyond imagination, and it was time the universe knew it. He turned to Nayeli, who stood silently, watching the horizon. Are you ready for what comes next? He asked. Nayeli's eyes met his, calm and determined. Always. The galaxy will see the strength of humanity, and they will be stunned. Elias smiled, a mixture of pride and anticipation filling him. Then let's show them. And together, standing on the plateau, two humans prepared to face the unknown, ready to reveal to the galaxy the power, courage, and ingenuity that made their kind truly extraordinary. The early morning light of Tier 9 painted the canyon in shades of gold and crimson. Elias Monroe stood atop the plateau, the heart of Tear glowing steadily in his hands. Beside him, Nayeli adjusted her gear, scanning the horizon with unwavering focus. Today was not just another battle. Today, humanity would prove itself. They're coming, Nayeli said, her voice calm but firm. They've called reinforcements. More ships than last time. And this time, they won't make mistakes. Elias tightened his grip on the crystal. He could feel the heart's energy resonating with his heartbeat, steadying his nerves, sharpening his mind. Then we make sure they never forget humans exist. Nayeli nodded. Exactly. But remember, it's not just strength, it's strategy, creativity, and courage. That is what will give us the edge. Elias took a deep breath, letting the calm wash over him. The previous battles had taught him that panic was a human enemy just as dangerous as any alien. He looked at Nayeli. Ready? Always, she said. Together, they moved down the plateau toward a narrow canyon that would serve as their battlefield. Elias could feel the heart guiding him, highlighting the safest paths, showing weaknesses in the terrain, even predicting how the enemy would maneuver. It was unlike anything he had experienced, not just power, but insight. Soon, the alien fleet appeared on the horizon. Dozens of ships glinted in the sunlight, their energy cannons glowing ominously. Elias felt a surge of determination. This was it, the ultimate test of human ingenuity and courage. Nayeli raised her bow, arrows charged with small energy shards. "We don't have to destroy them," she said. "We only need to show them what humans can do." Elias nodded. "Then let's get creative." As the alien ships advanced, Elias and Nayeli used the canyon's terrain to their advantage. Narrow passages funneled the enemy into tight spaces, where their numbers became a disadvantage. Elias placed energy traps and controlled rock slides with precision, each move guided by the heart's energy. The aliens fired relentlessly, but Elias anticipated their attacks, dodging with uncanny speed and accuracy. Nayeli's arrows struck with precision, disabling engines and communication systems without harming the ships entirely. One of the alien commanders, a massive armored ship, broke from formation and charged directly at them. Elias felt the heart pulse in his chest, warning him of the attack before his eyes even registered it. He leaped onto a rock outcrop, then launched a perfectly timed energy pulse that destabilized the ship. Rocks tumbled from above, pinning the alien vessel in place. Nayeli's voice rang out, calm and confident. "See? The heart doesn't just give strength. It shows you how to think, how to adapt. That is human power." Elias grinned despite the tension. "Then let's finish this." They worked as a team, moving fluidly through the canyon. Elias guided traps and calculated diversions, while Nayeli coordinated attacks with her arrows and strategic knowledge of the terrain. The alien fleet, powerful and technologically superior, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Elias could feel the heart responding to his intentions. Every act of courage, every decision made to protect Nayeli or the battlefield, amplified its energy. He realized the true power of the artifact. It wasn't just a tool. It was a mirror of humanity's potential, reflecting their creativity, resilience, and empathy. One by one, the alien ships began to falter. Their engines overheated from forced maneuvers, energy systems disrupted by traps, and formations broken by the unpredictability of human tactics. Elias raised his hand, feeling the heart surge stronger than ever. He could sense the enemy's final attempt, a coordinated strike to overwhelm them. He smiled faintly, adrenaline mixing with exhilaration. "Not today," he muttered. With a synchronized move, Elias and Nayeli activated their final strategy, a combination of controlled rock slides, energy pulses, and precise arrow strikes, funneled the remaining ships into a narrow canyon corridor. The ships, trapped and confused, collided with one another, or were forced to retreat. The alien commander's massive ship attempted one last desperate maneuver, charging directly at them. Elias concentrated, letting the heart guide him. He dodged, leaped, and launched a perfectly timed energy pulse at the ship's central control unit. Sparks flew, systems failed, and the vessel tumbled helplessly into the canyon floor. Silence followed. The dust settled, and the alien fleet had been defeated, or at least forced to retreat indefinitely. Elias lowered his blaster, chest heaving with exhaustion and relief. Nayeli stepped forward, her eyes bright with pride. "You did it," she said softly. "The heart responded to your courage, your quick thinking, your humanity. You've shown them what humans are capable of." Elias looked at the heart of Tear, its glow steady and warm. "It wasn't just me. It's humans. We are stronger than they ever imagined." Nayeli nodded. "Exactly. That is the revelation. The heart amplifies human potential, because no other species combines courage, creativity, and empathy like we do. That is why we survive, why we rise, and why the galaxy should never underestimate us." Elias's mind swirled with understanding. For the first time, he realized the full truth. Humanity was not just another species in the galaxy. They were capable of ingenuity, heroism, and adaptability that no other species could match. And with artifacts like the Heart of Tear, their potential was limitless. He turned to Nayeli. "We have to take this back. Not just for us, but for everyone. The galaxy needs to know the truth. That humans are capable of extraordinary things. Nayeli smiled faintly. Yes. But first we rest. Tomorrow, we begin the journey back. We will need all our strength. And the heart will continue to guide us. Elias nodded, feeling a mixture of pride, excitement, and anticipation. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. But he knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had shown a glimpse of its potential, and the universe would soon take notice. As the suns of Tier 9 rose higher, casting brilliant light over the canyon, Elias felt a deep sense of purpose. He and Nayeli had survived, adapted, and triumphed. They had proven that courage, intelligence, and compassion were as powerful as any weapon. The alien threat had been defeated, but the heart's true gift had been revealed: humanity itself. And with that revelation, Elias understood that the galaxy would never underestimate humans again. He turned to Nayeli, the glowing heart in his hand. "Are you ready for what comes next?" he asked. Nayeli's eyes met his, steady and determined. "We face it together. And when the galaxy sees us, they will be stunned." Elias smiled. "Then let's go show them." Together, they stepped forward, leaving the canyon behind. The wind carried whispers of adventure and possibility, and the heart of Tyr pulsed brightly, as if affirming its new guardians. Humans had proven themselves, and the galaxy would never forget it. And in that moment, Elias Monroe realized something profound. Sometimes, saving a single life, making a single choice, could awaken the potential of an entire species. Humanity was ready, and the stars themselves would bear witness. With courage, ingenuity, and the heart of Tyr, Elias and Nayeli had done the impossible. They had shown the galaxy the strength of humanity and left it stunned. The adventure was far from over, but one truth remained clear. Humans were extraordinary, and the universe had just begun to understand it. The light of the suns glinted off the canyon walls, casting long shadows that stretched across the rocky terrain. The heart pulsed in Elias's hands, a steady rhythm echoing the heartbeat of humanity itself. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and mysteries, but Elias no longer felt fear. He felt power, potential, and promise. He looked at Nayeli, who smiled faintly. "Let's take the next step," he said. Together, they vanished into the horizon, leaving behind a canyon, a defeated alien fleet, and a stunned galaxy that would remember this day forever.